Kansas City Chiefs, they did their thing yesterday, did they not? And what they did as well, is they took on a Jacksonville opponent that had them in their sights as a pelt on the wall. This is why it's so difficult to defend your championship in the NFL, because the Lions looked at them like a pelt on the wall, and so did the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hey, what better way to show that you have arrived than to tell Mahomes on his 28th birthday, when his birthday gifts from the team come in the form of a freshly signed Chris Jones and a freshly returned from a one-game injury respite in his great future Hall of Fame friend and target, Travis Kelce. What better way for you to tell your fans there in Duval County, we have arrived? And what they did defensively, sacked Trevor Lawrence 4 times. And Lawrence was running for his life, throwing late. How many times did you see Calvin Ridley come in with 1 foot down? He made so many great catches, but they were all out of bounds on the back end line.
Even the one at the very end of the game.
I know.
He caught it.
And so they were just a little bit off all day, and that's the Chiefs' defense. My goodness gracious. Sky Moore finally got in the end zone for you, right? He's your fantasy player?
I do. I had him on the bench. But
it's just here's what the Chiefs need to do. Just give me a little bit more running. Just more run. Just try it. Just try it. Just try it.
Rich, it was Mahomes' birthday yesterday.
I get it.
He was going to throw it around the yard.
I get it.
You know what I mean?
Just try it. Like it's when I first started SportsCenter, and Keith Olbermann kept telling me, just do one entire show without a joke. One whole show without a joke. Then would start with one highlight, then one segment, then one half a show, then one full show, and then do it for an entire week, and then you're halfway there to the type of broadcaster you can be. Here I am giving Andy Reid some advice. Just run. Just give me a little bit more running, and then one of these kids, I nominate Rashee Rice.
And he scored in the opener?
I will nominate him because Sky Moore scored last year, and I'll nominate him. He's like, let's get him going, because Kadarius Toney just strikes me as...
He had a few catches yesterday. They got him involved.
He got him going. He got him going a little bit. We're going a little higher register on him. I nominate this second rounder. I'll nominate this kid
Rich, Andy
for
Reid's,
being the rookie of their year.
Andy Reid's just focused on nuggies, so maybe that's what he's doing. That commercial's hilarious.
I see it. But this is what I needed to see out of Kansas City, and this is what Kansas City needed to show everyone. That's why Mahomes said they need to prove something to themselves, right? They need to prove that they are themselves to themselves. That's what he said in his press conference last week. And so what they did is they went into Jacksonville with the Jaguars feeling their oats for good reason, and they feel in their way trying to put that Chiefs pelt on the wall and say, we have arrived. And the Chiefs are 0-2 for the first time in forever. And we have arrived. We are 2-0. We are going to win this division. We now have a tiebreak on the Chiefs to lay on the table in January. And this is exactly why it's so difficult to defend a Super Bowl, is because you keep running into these teams one week after another, and they stumbled in their first week at home, raising a banner. And I understand you could sit here and say, they didn't have their 2 best players, and they got them back yesterday, outside of Mahomes, obviously. But you have to win games at home, even when you're banged up or dealing with a holdout. And next up for them is Chicago, which could not look any worse coming out of the gate based on how much excitement was surrounding Justin Fields and DJ Moore, who did have some plays yesterday in Tampa. And then they visit the Jets on Sunday night. I am wondering if NBC executives were watching that game against the Cowboys on CBS yesterday, watching that struggle of Zach Wilson and seeing the way the defense of the Chiefs just played. Can they flex out of that one? Can they just flex out of it and figure out what else to put on that week 4 Sunday night? Because that's not going to be much of a game based on what we saw, with all due respect to my team and my coach.
Ooh. Well, the Jets, have 4 more primetime games, right?
They sure do, and that's for another day to discuss. At Minnesota, which has a huge Week 3 game coming up against the Chargers, which we'll talk about a little bit later in this first hour. Denver, the Chargers themselves. I mean, the Chiefs can go on a nice, neat run here because they did get their mojo back a little bit yesterday on offense. And defensively, hey, if they're giving up 17 to Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne, or giving up, they score 17 basically against Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne and Calvin Ridley looking the way he's looking, and Evan Ingram.
Yep.
How many games are they going to win this year?
The rest of them.
That's one way to put it. That is an excellent way to put it, quite frankly.
Chris, let me check the script on that real quick.
Yeah, by the way, throw that script out that Rodgers lasted 4 snaps at 75 seconds. Because I think that script sucks.
I didn't want to upset you, but I knew it was coming, is all I'm saying.
Take that script and flush it. Flushing Meadows it. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.